I'm a fine speck of dust on a bit of flotsam in a tiny puddle amidst the roaring whirlpool of the galaxy, all culminating to but a drop of water compared to the tumultuous and possibly infinite universe. A web of creations so beautiful and intricate that, by comparison, I am but a boring microbe, literally unable to fathom the true nature of any of it. Nothing I could ever do would impact any of all this existence. I am not just a nobody, I am a nothing. So why do I feel so important? A fun thought experiment is to simply try and comprehend the enormity of our universe, to try and recognize the weight our humble word existence truly bears. For instance, our galaxy alone is 100,000 light years from tip to tip, a giant factory creating billions upon billions upon billions of stars. If roughly every human who has ever lived ever was a star with the mass of, on average, around 330,000 to 2.6 million Earths, that thing that everything about us started and will probably end on, the volume of about 500,000 to 8 million said Earths, and burn with the intensity of what I would imagine would be God's pure wrath, then you'd get our galaxy, plus the black holes, planets, nebulae, and all the other wonderful little cosmic horrors dotted around, lying in wait for unsuspecting prey like us. So it's pretty big. Big enough to where we will probably never, ever thoroughly explore even a minute fraction of it. Surely nothing ever could compare to its magnitude, its mystique. You are looking at a galactic supercluster. Ours, to be exact, Laniakea. Those strings of light are not stars, not individually. They are massive, bunched up galaxies. There are 100,000 galaxies in this image. Everything you've ever known and loved falls somewhere around that dot, in a small corner of one of those threads called the Milky Way. Some of those threads are thousands of times the size of our own, impossibly large. With so much existence, such images start blurring the lines of reality. They invoke a sense of surreality. It's impossible that we're alone. Our supercluster is so beautiful and unique, and there are 10 million of them. 10 million. There are probably around 2 trillion galaxies out there, all brimming with the same incomprehensible beauty as ours. The amount of stars, like our own, lighting up our sky in the universe is so ineffably large that I will simply give you the notation. 4 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0, also known as 4 billion trillion. And you think you're important. Everything our species does is limited and futile in the face of our very own galaxy, let alone the universe, or God forbid, the multiverse. But to us, it's everything. That promotion you're after, that date you're going to go on, your bad relations with your family, or that nagging fact that everything is all going to shit and we're all going to die, all of it is nothing. I guess, really, when compared to the enormity of the universe. It's not like we are ever going to affect any of all this creation with our instability. So why bother? Why do I worry at all when it's all pointless and nothing matters and we're all going to die anyways? And who really cares about international politics and the possible very hot heat death of humanity? And why is any of it like how it is? How can all of it be so worthless and futile and unimportant but affront my mind with such arduous pestilence? Why do I care? Why do I think what I'm doing is important at all? And why on earth should I not face the fact that I don't matter and just give up? The air was abuzz with chatter of all kinds, focusing primarily on the great beast the soldiers had managed to take down. "Heave, men, heave!" the workers screamed, doing their best to lift the dead monster. Once brought back, it could feed the town for days, maybe weeks. Its shiny black carapace had made it a formidable foe, but the coordination of several dozen soldiers had eventually led to its inevitable downfall. Civilian workers now streamed in, making plans to move it back. It could take hours or days of hard work, but it was much needed after the attack from a neighboring city-state. So many deaths, even the children weren't spared. The onslaught had left them destitute, the ruthless attackers draining their resources, devastating their people. The tears of mothers watered the barren crops. The bodies of the slain lay mute and motionless. One could almost mistake them for sleeping, if it weren't for the death lingering in their eyes. Thankfully, their queen was unharmed. They would recover, recoup, then enact revenge on the bastards that mercilessly slaughtered their brethren. Those were ants. Granted, while I dramatize them a bit, ants are very complex little bugs. They've got pseudo-societies, royalty, hierarchy, job specification. They have a rudimentary form of communication. They work together. They war and kill for resources. Why, it's almost like a little mock humanity they have going on there. I do not know the mind of an ant. Their brains are likely so small that I truly cannot comprehend what their existence might be like. Inversely, can you imagine an ant trying to understand the vast and complicated machinations of man? An ant's entire world will likely start and end in a corner of a person's yard, a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of what is out there on this gated little community we call Earth. Maybe we're the ants in the corner of someone else's yard, and we just have to hope they don't call the exterminators. My point is, an ant 1,000 miles from you will never and could never affect you nor your world. What an ant does with its life is largely unimportant to you, but to that ant, it's everything. It's the poor thing's beginning and end. I am an ant on the cosmic scale, unaffecting whatever lies beyond my sensibilities, but that doesn't mean it's not all worth the trouble. That doesn't mean I'm not important, or that you aren't important, or that we aren't important. We very well could be the only thing in all this wonder that can consciously question it. We could be the first in a long line of organic empires, or we could be the last, picking up where the celestial titans left off. There could be space dragons, or civilizations spanning star systems and ruling galaxies, or maybe there's something else out there, waiting just across the horizon of human imagination. Existence is a storybook, and your page is as important as any. It's all relative, really.